Good morning, everyone. I'm June Ranson. I'm a Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce board member, bronze partner, chairman for the New Zealand Association for the Immigration Industry. I'm the national coordinator for the immigration industry and Immigration New Zealand during the COVID-19. I'm the CEO for my company, Woburn International, with its headquarters based in Lower Hutt. At the end of this conversation with you, please, you can ask questions at the end of the presentation. Now, during our time together, I'm going to make you aware of the changes that have occurred with immigration as they may affect you, the employer. Some of the issues the government is facing to get the economy going again, and what you need to be considering, because we are in totally new and different times. So let's talk about the recent release of the visa extensions for those employees who have their visas, be they work visas, student visas, expiring between the periods of the 2nd of April to the 9th of July. Look, don't worry. They're taken care of. So these employees will automatically be granted an interim visa. So those that are expiring between the 2nd of April to the 9th of July, and they are in fact in New Zealand, they will automatically receive an extension to the 25th of September, which will allow them to continue operating as they have before. So the migrant will be able to continue exactly what they were doing. Now, I want to make you aware that Immigration New Zealand, their 4,500 staff, are no longer operating, with the exception of the management team, within the immigration branch offices. Immigration has made them go to their homes, and in doing so, they do not have IT functions to be able to continue processing the normal types of visas. And that's for security. What they have done is they have in fact put in place a provision that only new visas for essential services. And these are the people the government have recognised that they need to keep things moving. And it includes the categories of the health workers, those working in the food, energy, fuel, the internet, financial support, construction related, all to do with the critical infrastructure of essential skills. Now, they have in fact also released changes with regarding how they're defining work with regard to supermarket employees. Now, if your staff are working in either Woolworths Foodstuffs, North Island Foodstuffs, South Island, from the 25th of March to the 25th of April, those work visa holders are not going to be restricted to working purely for the roles defined on their visa label. They may in fact work in any area at all in your supermarket. Also, if you are in fact employing students who have typically only been allowed to work 20 hours per week, they have said, look, you may have them work longer. Now, the minimum wage increases will continue. Look, we're still trying to work on this, and I'm talking about this from an industry perspective. because we do recognise it's pretty tough on employers. But as the state of play is in now, the minimum wage increase is occurring, and the adult minimum wage will increase $1.20 from $17.70 to $18.90, and that is in place from today. And those starting out and training, the minimum wage rates are going to increase from $14.16, that's $14.16, to $15.12 per hour, and will remain at 80% of the adult rate. They have emphasised that during this lockdown, businesses may still pay workers for the work they do. This means employees, regardless of whether they're working from home or from the premises that are essential, they must be paid at least the new minimum wage for each hour they work. Now, bear in mind, employers, typically we are going to experience a lot of stress over this because we're not going to be receiving the normal amount of incomes from our clients. So the government has introduced the wage subsidy scheme, and that came into being on the 28th of March. And I can tell you they're pretty prompt. If you put an application in, they typically will respond in a couple of days, and that means they are going to pay out 80% of the salary that your employees would be getting. Now, you must be passing that on to your employee, but it is subsidising their wage. So it comes to you, and you need to be making sure that the employee receives that, either that is their wage, but if they have in fact been earning less than that, will they still continue to earn their normal income? So it's available, that subsidy, that modified wage subsidy is available to all businesses who are going to be adversely affected by the COVID-19. And it covers the areas of the self-employed, contractors, sole traders, registered charities, incorporated societies, and post-settlement governance entities. So you as an employer, if you can predict you're going to be getting a 30% revenue drop, which is part of the current crisis that is causing this, that is when in fact you may claim that allowance. The scheme is based on trust. So you need to put your application as soon as possible, and you would be listing the names of your employees. And it is required that you retain those employees in your staff while you are in fact receiving that benefit. Now, if any of your circumstances as an employer change during that period, or you're found to breach the conditions, when the crisis is over, you will in fact be caught up with to repay that subsidy. Now, I just want to give you something to be thinking about. I mean, this is what we actually see happening. Now, we're only week one of the lockdown, so we've still got 3 weeks to go as a minimum. But I want you to try thinking ahead to reopening time with Immigration New Zealand. Now, people need to get back to work. Now, how are you going to replace the ones that you've let go? Because many of those may well have, if they've been migrants, returned to their home countries. Now, you need to be doing the planning now for how you're going to get those migrant-schooled people. Now, the planned announcement by the Minister last year, he was talking about the low-skilled jobs. and the need that you would have to go to work and income to approach them to get the staff you need before you can go looking for any migrants. Now, what the government's actually been thinking in the last week is that with the increase in all the unemployment, we're not going to need migrants. Now, this is a load of rubbish, because we do. And the fact that the government has in fact been trying to force employers to take the staff out of from work and income, providing they attend the interview and their drug testing is clear. That's not going to work for many of you, because it could in fact disrupt your culture of how you work. Because I do say you should try, but do be careful on this one. And I know this is being challenged at the moment. So the questions that are coming up are, the low-skilled people are going to be needed more and more, and many of these have in fact been filled by migrants. Now, you may also have had redundant workers, and what we need to be looking at is how you're going to be looking after them if you're laying them off. I mean, we've all got a social conscience here. What I can tell you is that the government is looking at how they can in fact financially cover these people, because they're not going to be able to go out to work. They're no longer in your employment. So financial assistance is going to be considered. The other things to be considered is that your trade routes of who you've been dealing with in your contacts, do keep in touch with everybody on the internet. But the government has intimated that they do not want migrants to be disadvantaged. And they're saying that anything that would have been successful prior to the lockdown and the changes, they would like to see reinstated for the migrant. But patience is required. The government can't work through everything all at once, and there's a lot of pressure going on, but they are saying, please, patience. Many new issues are coming up. I'm facing these every day, and I'm in discussions with immigration every day as I'm fielding queries that are coming in from all over New Zealand from within the industry. And we have now got immigration making broadcasts to the industry so that we know what is happening. So I hope that's been informative to you. And if you have any questions, please submit them now, and I will attempt to answer them for you. I can't see anybody's asking me any questions, but what I can tell you, look, the whole scene is evolving. So please, we will try and keep you informed, but there's a lot of things that have got to come out yet. And it's not just a quick process for them, for the government. They know that there are issues there, and when they are faced with these issues, they have to go to the government, and the government then has to discuss what they're going to do. It then comes back into Immigration New Zealand to be formulating a policy of how to proceed, and it does take time. So that's why I say patience, please. I must have answered everybody's questions because nobody is talking to me. All right. Well, if you do have any questions after reflecting a little while, please. I'm June Ranson. I'm the CEO of Woburn International. We're only a phone call away, and that's 04 569 4861, or my cell phone is 021 422 095. And I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day. Bye.